Welcome to the Engineering and Public Works Roadshow, coming to you from Winston-Salem, North Carolina, at the Great Trail State Conference, celebrating the Great Trail State of North Carolina. And this week we're focusing in on an area of infrastructure that everyone relies on and everybody enjoys, but not enough focus goes to it. And that's recreational infrastructure, the infrastructure of rails, trails, greenways, pedestrian bridges, things that are small improvements to really make a big impact on quality of life. And today we're talking about one specific project, which is a pedestrian bridge project, and it is the North Wilkesboro Pedestrian Bridge. And to speak about the project, I'm very pleased to be joined by Ramey Shaw with North Carolina's Department of State of Transportation, and Rick Tipton with Gannett Flemming. So Ramey, let's go into a little bit about the need and the problem solution here for this pedestrian bridge. My understanding is it did come to the attention of the state legislature. It was a direct appropriation.
It was appropriations to the county of Wilkes. It was $3 million to construct a pedestrian bridge at the North Wilkesboro Speedway.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations where when there is a race, it could snarl up some traffic, right? Before
It sure can.
What was the impact of race day on the local community, without this bridge in place?
Well, actually, the Fishing Creek Bridge there, it separates the Speedway property, their parking areas, and the Speedway itself. It's a two-lane facility there with no pedestrian accommodations. So during the race times, we actually had to barricade the existing structure off to separate the vehicular traffic with the pedestrian traffic there. And that way it was just unsafe conditions sometimes, and we had to use a lot of manpower to keep monitoring the safety of that. And during race days, a lot of people filter in during the daytimes, but there's an influx of when you need to get out of there after the race, and that's where we see the most trouble.
Like at any large event, everybody wants to get out there as fast as humanly possible, right? And then you hit a roadblock or a snarl in traffic. Excuse me. It becomes a public safety and traffic issue. Rick, how did Gannett Flemming get involved with the project, and really how did you analyze the best solution to the problem that they were having?
Sure. So when we were approached after NCDOT and the division in North Wilkesboro received the funding, they contacted us, reached out, and asked if we could help them with this project. And so with that, one of the things that we found early on was that the time constraints on this project were very tight. We actually started working in April of this year, and the design was finalized, and it went to construction, or was let for construction in August. So only a few months worth of work. So
really
it was a
quick
turnaround. So that was one of the big challenges that we had. And in doing that, early on, knowing that there was still a limited budget for the project, $3 million sounds like a lot of money, but infrastructure projects are expensive.
A lot more goes into it.
And so early on we evaluated what the crossing, the bridge would need to be, and what made the most sense economically. US Highway 421, where the bridge is crossing, is a 4-lane median divided controlled access facility. And so we looked at, with a 2-span structure or a single-span structure, and evaluated that for cost and constructability, and pretty quickly come to the conclusion that a single-span structure was the best fit for the budget. And so with that, then we moved on forward into the design. The NCDOT provided the surveys, the base information that we needed, and then our folks, here in North Carolina, were able to do the necessary design to pull the project together.
Yeah, I mean, looking at a project like this with such a tight turnaround, the fact you were able to get it let out to construction really quickly. Is this kind of a, Ramey, from the department's perspective, is this kind of the project that you'd like to see replicated across the state as far as timeline and how quickly things worked?
That's hard to say. We had excellent coordination with Gannett Flemming, but the constraints for the design was a little bit easier. There's no environmental areas that we had to worry about. And we was actually just going from approach to approach, was beside an existing structure, so we already had the height elevations and stuff we needed for that. So it made it a lot easier. Personally, I don't believe that we need to look at that time frame that quickly sometimes.
Well, of course, it's best to have a lot more time. But I mean, there is. I mean, people don't really think about it. Like say a bridge, okay, well, you just got to just build another bridge, but you can't just do that, right? You have all these different things that actually go into the projects. The things that have to happen before you even, consider what one or two spans, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I mean, the things that went on, from geotechnical investigations that had to happen, surveys that had to happen, field visits, still to make sure that the drainage, the highway drainage, and all those things were taken care of. So there's a lot of logistics that you got to take care of when you're doing a project like this. But to add to what Ramey said, one of the key things from a time, it made it a little easier, at least from a permitting point of view.
Yeah.
So we were not impacting any jurisdictional streams or wetlands. And with that, that saved a lot of time that, a lot of typical projects. If we'd have been going over a stream, for example, I don't know that, you might not have been able to make it in that kind of time frame.
Exactly. Now that this is in place, I mean, again, we're kind of talking about the fact that, this is a good example of like a targeted improvement to a community, right? Because if you live near the Speedway, your life's impacted whenever there's a race day. Right, if you're trying to get to the race, your life's impacted by ease of entrance and exit. Do you think that this is going to help alleviate traffic for future development into the area, or does this do anything for like a next stage or the future for the area?
I mean, in my opinion, direct access for the Speedway and safer pedestrian access is, of course, a great thing. But it opens the opportunity for the Speedway to, into that facility to be used in the future. Other things that we may not know about, today. I mean, the Speedway has kind of had a rebirth, I think, over the past few years, right, Ramey? Yeah. And so with that, it's not going to do nothing, I think, but give the opportunities to the community for more growth. A lot of the rural North Carolina communities struggle a little bit, with things and to have more opportunity. This is a great for them to reopen and start using the race, the track again for races and these the ultimate, the NASCAR, the premier events.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just that means a lot to the community and what it brings and, what that brings to the community.
Yeah, so I always talk about infrastructure as an economic driver. For every dollar spent, the multiplier effect back into the community is significant.
Absolutely.
So, the fact is that you have a very targeted investment in an area, a direct appropriation of funds. This is exactly the kind of thing, Ramey, that you want to see, that taxpayers see a return on their direct investment, right? What is it? What for you guys being involved with this project? What does it mean to you now that it's gotten out to construction and is going to be done? What are your feelings on being able to bring it this far so quickly?
Well, there's a sense of pride in that for us, and to come in and achieve that. And when you conceive a project like that, and then the things like with what we estimated the cost was going to be, it actually come in right at that, actually a little bit less, and so it kind of validates all the things that you've been doing, and a lot of projects, like you say, take time, and to see one kind of move. I mean, there's lots of projects in my career I've worked on that's been years, but now this one's going to say, maybe by next year, the plan is by next spring I'll be able to go and walk across this bridge, and that's huge, because people always say, it's going to take way too long to do. Then all of a sudden you're able to move, in a matter of months to the design, then the construction, and in a short period of time it can be done, right? Ramey, from your perspective as a department, what does this project mean for the state?
Well, to be honest with you, this will be a great project for it. It's a great project for the county of Wilkes and the Speedway Motorsports, North Wilkesboro Speedway. Honestly, our goal is to have this thing open for the next All-Star race in May next year.
Okay.
And that's where we were at when we started this project. we knew we had a fabrication time that we'd have no control over.
Yeah.
And it was given to us to 6 to 8 months. That was the other accelerating portion of the design. We had to get this thing out.
Yeah.
To get fabricators enough time to get it complete and get it open.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, it's really coming down to problem solution, right? It's
Right.
trying to figure out how do we do this on time, on budget, and how do we deliver the right thing so that it has the maximum benefit.
Absolutely.
So it's a perfect example of engineering and exactly what we're trying to do with the roadshow. So Rick and Ramey, thank you very much for taking part and talking about this project. Hope you enjoy the conference this week. Again, this has been Engineering and Public Works Roadshow from the American Council of Engineering Companies, the American Public Works Association, and the American Society of Civil Engineers, coming to you from the Great Trail State Conference in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And we'll be with you next time. Take care.